Welcome to Living the Dream Iowa Life. I'm your host, Hannah Nuss, and each weekday we'll share enthusiasm for what's possible and dive into the stories of Iowans living their dream lives right here in the heartland. Whether you're chasing a big goal or just looking for a little inspiration, we've got you covered. Let's change the world together. This is Living the Dream Iowa Life. Let's go. Heyo, welcome to Living the Dream podcast. Living the Dream Iowa Life podcast. I'm your host, Hannah Nuss, and it's a great day. A little moon, a little stars, a little fog. Oh, it's so fun, so joyful. So today's question is happiness the goal? And I thought a lot about this question because a little bit I was like, it is, right? It is. And definitely at the start of my journey, I was just like, I just want to be happy. I want to be happy all the time. I want to be joyful. I want to experience myself in bliss. I want to do things that bring me joy. But at that time, I didn't know what would even make me happy. I just knew a lot of the activity, a lot of the ways that I spent my day were not. They just weren't. And so I was kind of living for this really small amount of time in my day where I could experience happiness, which generally happened when I was home with my kids. Ooh, wake it up already. And so, yeah, I experienced those things. And because I wasn't experiencing them enough, it sort of became this removed sense of self. And that inevitably is the issue. If we answer yes to this question, is happiness the goal? Happiness can't be removed from self. We can choose happiness and joy in anything. And while there are definitely seasons of life where that's not appropriate, I think we can always kind of round the change back up to just joy and acceptance and happiness with right where we are. And I don't know, when I was first starting out, I was like, no, you can't, that's not a thing. Happiness is a goal. That's where we should aspire to be. We couldn't just be happy or satisfied with where we are. And so the removal of happiness from self, the setting it as a goal, as a trophy that we should get somewhere down the road, really was essentially acknowledging that there's no happiness to be had right here, right where I'm at. It's always something that I am striving towards, never something that I can experience. And I will say that opening up and allowing myself to create, to experience this life in a deeper way, to kind of give over to the sensation of joy, made me realize how much that is a choice, how dangerous it is to remove it from self, because we are in it. We are doing it. We are full of it. We are this life. We are this experience. We are capable of being happy right now. And I think as soon as I started kind of writing, I started finding my way back to my truth, to the fact that happiness is not some far removed goal. I can't just be happy when I get to that goal. I have to be so happy in the daily practice of being able to write and expand and find joy in the work that I do and the opportunities that I get and the life that provides for myself and my family and the balance that all has to come with playing with all of this, undoubtedly. But more than anything, like just love of the game itself. Because when we get there, eventually we have the trophy in hand and we go, oh, I made it. What am I going to do now? I'm so happy. How will I experience that happiness again? Well, the happiness never had to be withheld. And what you realize in the moment of getting that trophy is that the joy was really in the journey to that accomplishment. And if and when we put happiness on a shelf as if it's something we should aspire to, we miss out on the journey, the joy, and yes, certainly the pain, but we can't kind of shut off the shadow just as we can't shut off the light. Like there has to be balance of both, and balance of both looks like letting yourself be in the joy of the present moment, even in the simplicity of it, even in the loss of it, even in the darkness or brightness of it. Like just fully being there. Yeah. Just being there. Just living that life. Just letting yourself experience what this life is and what it should be. And I don't know. I think, can we be happy right now? Where we are? Is there something to be happy about? And this, I think for me, this is a balance. I've talked about the kind of meaning behind my original podcast work, The Death of a Dream. It was a yellow wall. And it was like, I had to embrace that there was a wall, even though I needed to paint it yellow because I am just an optimist, loving life and happiness. I needed to recognize and come to terms with the fact that there was a wall and have an honest conversation about that instead of kind of the bright, there's not a wall here conversation, even though I needed to paint it yellow to kind of be able to adjust to it. There was darkness. And I added my brightness to that wall, but there was definitely darkness to it. There was a depth to it that I had never approached. There was a depth to it that I couldn't handle had I not been able to kind of paint it myself and say, okay, this is dark, this is deep, this is scary, this is a place I have never been before. I don't know who to be here. I don't know how to face this, but I have to stop running from it. And I have to stop letting myself believe that I'm not worthy of happiness through this journey. Letting myself believe that it's something that I have to kind of prolong or put in a hidden snack drawer. It's something I can access right now. It's something that I can recognize in anything that I'm doing. And so I just start letting myself make my way forward in that. And I think first and foremost, the most important part of the journey was allowing myself to experience happiness in the super simple things. You know, I had only assigned happiness to success, to accomplishment, to hard work, to getting to the goal. And I never let happiness be as soft as it is. You know, like, no, I'm just super happy cuddling this baby. I just think that is the most joyful, delicious thing that I could ever do for myself, and just super happy doing that. I am just super happy getting to walk my kids to school. I'm just so happy in that. I am so happy just sitting, all of us on one couch, which is a strange thing, but we have supersized couches, so do not mind us. All of us just sitting on one couch. I'm not accomplishing anything. There's nothing to do here. We're just all sitting, touching, holding each other, sitting, watching something super light on TV. Maybe we're just sitting. Maybe we're just hanging out. Maybe we're playing a game. Who knows what we're doing? But that was always something that I withheld, that I wouldn't let myself experience, definitely would not let myself enjoy. Nope. Yeah, you could enjoy that, but maybe if the house is clean, if the laundry is done when it is supposed to be done, if the floors are swept, if the food is made, if everything has been done, if I had a successful week at work, then I can allow myself to sit and enjoy this. Only when all of those boxes are checked. And think about how many times those boxes are unchecked. You know? And we have to get disciplined, right? Unquestionably. So that we can be free. And it seems so conflicting, right? Freedom and discipline. That's the opposite. This is a lovely balance of how often I am called out on these things. Oh, yeah, well, but you realize you're going to have to do this and do that, Anna, and how are you going to do that? It's like, I don't know. I always figure it out. I don't know, but I bet I will. And I know discipline makes unrooted people feel super uncomfy. Putting in structure and strategy is super uncomfortable when people are craving freedom so much. And I think usually we're craving freedom out of never having established a route to begin with. And so when we don't do that, we really don't have kind of a anchor. There's no one holding us down. And if we've always been free, we've never rooted to anyone, anything, any instance. We've just always kind of burned bridges and set souls on fire and ran away whenever things got tough. If we never found that root, found that anchor, then freedom is sort of the calling card of those people. And if we never have root, then we don't really get in depth with any of our relationships, with any of our roots, with any of our connections. We're just sort of free falling through the world. And it is hard to be happy there. Because you're kind of consciously looking to disrupt. You're waiting for the other shoe to fall, for this to be too good to be true, for this moment to not be real life. You're kind of waiting, hoping. Because if it becomes real life, if we do just accept happiness, if we are just happy, then we may have rooted. We may have to accept that this thing is permanent, that we love it and we don't want it to be removed. And maybe if we have issues with rejection or abandonment, then maybe we are very scared of being happy. Right? Maybe the last time we were happy, we let ourselves be happy, we got hurt. or we got abandoned, or even as a child where happiness is not a goal, happiness is just your being. Like, try looking at a baby, or try watching a video with a baby laughing without laughing yourself. You can't. The happiness just fills their entire soul because it is who they are. They don't know any different, right? Happiness, outside of the few times that they need their core needs met, happiness is who they are, which means happiness is who we are. We are happy and curious and exploring and craving life. And when we have an imbalance in that, we sort of set happiness as the goal. And definitely when I started my show, that was the goal. I just want to be happy. I want to be happy. That's the goal. I want to find my passion and my purpose. That's the goal. It's like both of these things are not removed from ourselves. We don't really have to go searching for them because they are our being. Purpose is not removed. Purpose is ingrained. And I talked about this yesterday in my entrepreneurship class with the kiddos, because I'm running what we call Do School Camp right now, which is a 1-week entrepreneurship camp. And kids get to build a business, and then they get to have a vendor show. So most places do the vendor show. Cool. Love that. Love kids getting to try on entrepreneurship. I like to take them through a course so they can really think through their ideas, and they have a discipline of entrepreneurship, right? Like, it is a discipline. There are ways to develop a business to think through these things, and we should be doing X, Y, and Z. And we have 5 things that we like to hit on to make sure. So yesterday I'm talking about kind of the why behind your business and getting to know yourself, because although today you might just be making something you saw on TikTok and that's super fun, as you continue in your entrepreneurship journey, really the goal is to find something that aligns self with business, where they are removed, but they also aren't, where this is just the bearing of your soul in all things that you are. That's what your business should be. And sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, right? Like, your first attempt at it may not be, but if we can start you thinking down that road, then we can understand business. Typically, if it's a small business, true to who you are, is really not removed from the founder. It is the founder. The founder is the heart, blood, and soul behind everything that it will be. And that's a really sort of beautiful thing that creates so much beauty and authenticity and variety in this world. And so we're talking about that, and I'm saying make a list of the things that you love doing, of the things that make you happiest right now. What are those things? When you're doing them, you are just whisked away with the world. You could do them all day long. What are those things that you're doing? What are those ways that you are experiencing happiness in your day right now? What do you do? Where do you get carried away? And so we're having that conversation, and we're saying it's already in you. And these kids probably know more about who they are and how they exist in this world than we do at this point. They're so much closer to the root source. Hopefully, so much less has kind of been removed from them. Hopefully, they haven't had experiences where they've disconnected from happiness, where they start to set happiness as the goal because their childhood has been so far removed from their birth state of happiness and the joy of our needs being fulfilled. But like, once our needs, core needs, are met, then happiness is something we can just be. It's not even a work your way up the system. It's so low in the core. This is the act of creativity, because should we not have a way to kind of tap into that happiness, that joy? And I think it comes from kind of core things. We enjoy the outdoors, so we let ourselves get outside. We've always loved the water, or we've always loved moving our body, or we love our children, and so we let ourselves just be in that joy with them. We let ourselves spend so much time with them that we almost don't exist apart from each other. We let ourselves free flow in the joy. We are happy. And then what makes us happy really isn't that far removed. Anything can make us happy. And it's important that we start figuring out what that is right now. Instead of, if I got to this place, then I could be happy. If I bought this next car, then I would be happy. Right? And it's so consumable. And happiness is sort of sold as a goal because we'll try to buy our way to happiness. In fact, our economy is probably pretty much rooted in that. Americans will attempt to buy their way to happiness if they just have this next thing, if they just get the nicer thing, if they just get the bigger house, right? If they just live up to the Joneses, everything will be better. And that's sort of the doctrine that's passed down. And these are the things that we come to believe, that happiness is removed from ourselves. Happiness and joy and peace are something that we can't experience until. And because happiness has been set as a goal, then it is kind of a consumable almost. And we, marketing, these video platforms are making kind of that fake happiness, that dopamine release, happen so often. We're really far removed from the actual experience of happiness. And so even if we got it, we might not know, oh, that's just joy? It didn't come in the form of a 3-second scroll? Huh. It's like, real? I don't know that I know how to experience this anymore. I don't know that I know what real happiness is when it's not consumable, when it's not getting the next thing, when it's not taking the next step, when it's not success. Happiness just is. We as people just are. There is no purpose or higher calling. We can simply follow the places that we feel happy. The places where, I say this all the time, where energy repeats. I really thought I just wanted, let's see. In the beginning, I thought I wanted to write. I wanted to write books. I was going to start on my first 5 books. That's what I was going to do. I was going to write. I was going to do it. And I could never get the energy to return. I could never find a flow in the words. It was super hard and nearly impossible and almost broke me completely. Yeah, it's great. But I knew that energy repeated in this work, in this podcast. And so I decided that that's what I would do. That's how I would create. That's what I would create to start with. And I loved talking through ideas and concepts, and I loved being able to kind of change what that looked like and how that was going to function. And I loved being able to come here every day and expand. And I loved playing with words, spoken words. And eventually those spoken words led to written word. And I kind of found a flow of what this energy build would look like. And while I couldn't just sit down and start typing away on a keyboard. That wasn't the beginning energy return for me. I knew eventually I wanted to write because I could remember always loving writing and loving words, most importantly. Loving to read beautifully written books that played with words so delicately. Ugh, yum. Come on. Just let me read a thesaurus, would you? Right? I love it. I love words. I think they're the most beautiful gift that we've ever been given. And so I'm playing, I'm enjoying, I'm finding joy in all these new fun things. And the energy keeps repeating. The energy keeps repeating. I'm not ever tired. I'm like building, I'm expanding. This isn't exhausting. This is the most beautiful, wonderful work that I've ever done. I love everything about this. I love being able to do what I do now. And I think the start of that came from not holding joy apart from my experience. It came from allowing me to experience joy in the super simple things, in the easiest of things. And if I had never let myself experience that, I wouldn't have kind of come back into the truth of my body, that this is not removed. This cannot be found at Target sipping on Starbucks. This is in the day-to-day. This is who I am. This is how I move. I am happy. Whether I am accomplishing something or not, I am happy. And I realize that happiness is not removed from me. And I also realize that the quest, the purpose is also not something that's removed from me. I am. I am, because we are. Remember how I like to talk about beating up babies, right? Like, we're never going to go up to a toddler who comes to us and they say, I am so happy. I'm so happy when I'm thinking about rockets. I want to be an astronaut. We're like, hey, you big, dumb 2-year-old. I don't know, maybe 3. I don't speak young child anymore, so I cannot remember. Right? Hey, you dummy. You 3-year-old. That's not happiness. You can't have happiness just sitting here thinking about rockets. Happiness is so complicated you couldn't understand. They're like, no, I really find a whole bunch of joy thinking about rockets. I don't think you're right. I think I'm right. I know what I feel. I'm not removed from that. And so then we say, okay, well, then fine. You are happy when you're thinking about rockets, but you could never be an astronaut. Ever. You're crazy. Right? And some people probably do say this to 3-year-olds, but it would be very weird for us to say that, to crush that dream, to crush that happiness, that joy in discovering of self. That would be weird, but it might happen. And when it happens, that's probably the first start of the removal of happiness from our truth. And it probably happened maybe when you were little, or maybe it happened later in life, but we began to at some point accept that this is something that is removed from me. This is something I can only experience on the weekends. This is something I can only experience on this boat. This is something I can only experience with this next best thing. This is something I can only experience doing this one specific thing. Like, no, It's everywhere. And it's open and available for all of us because it's in our being, and our being is not doing. Our being is acknowledgement of the existence, is the feeling of the feeling in our body. And if we get too far removed from our body and the feelings that exist here, our intuition, our truth, our core, when we get too removed from that, we can't understand what happiness actually is. And when we're removed from ourselves, then happiness feels like something we need to fill that gap with. And that can look like different addictions. That can look like a lot of shopping. That can look like always kind of living for the next best thing. It can look like a whole handful of things. But our true existence is that happiness is not removed from us at all, that it's always available. Just like our purpose, our truth, it's been there all along. As always, you're smart, you're strong, you're beautiful. What are you going to do? Change the world.